An NXT star was stretchered out following an injury scare last night. Plus, a WWE star is confused by recent Raw creative. And we have an update on Jeff Hardy's AEW status. It's all in the wrestling news right now. Sending our best wishes this morning to Amari Miller. Last night during her match with Lash Legend, at the conclusion of said match, as they went to break on NXT, we have fan footage of medics and referees putting Amari Miller onto a stretcher and taking her out of the ringside area. Now, this was captured during a break, so this obviously wasn't part of an angle. So it could be the case of Amari Miller legitimately injured during that match.
It certainly looked like it. WWE have uploaded clips of the match to their YouTube channel, and you can't really tell that anything is especially wrong, especially in those clips. You can't really pinpoint a specific moment where this injury may have occurred.
No, there's a few bits where I think like there's a few sort of heavy strikes in there. I think that finish that Lash did, sort of like the Big Bang catastrophe, where she's, I think, kind of meant to flip over and then turn into a splash. I think Miller's head sort of potentially whiplashes off the canvas.
Okay. I didn't clock that. It's not the first time that Lash Legend has potentially faced a bit of criticism. Well, not potentially. She has faced a bit of criticism for maybe being a little bit rough in the ring. Amari Miller has since taken to Twitter in the last hour or so, just saying much love to everyone that had reached out. We got to keep on moving. We're going to keep on moving, rather. So
hopefully, I mean, what we have seen in recent memory with WWE especially is, even if there's a concern that there's an injury, they won't sort of take it lightly.
Madcap Moss would like a word.
With the exception of maybe Madcap Moss. Madcap Moss has entered the chat. But we said our best to Amari Miller. Be well. Thank you, please. Alexa Bliss.
Thank you, please. Was that Borat?
It was a little bit.
Thank you, please.
Thank you, please. I haven't said that in years. Thank you, please.
I don't know where that came from. Alexa Bliss.
She doesn't know where Raw Creative came from.
No. This is a very, very confusing situation. We saw the return in ring of Alexa Bliss at Elimination Chamber. Since then, where's she been? We don't know. This week's Raw emanated from Alexa's hometown, Columbus, Ohio. So you would expect to see Alexa Bliss on the show, but no. And she's taken to Twitter to address this, Tom.
She did indeed, simply putting a shrug emoji going, yeah, I don't know. Hashtag where's Alexa was another tweet that she put out. She also responded to a fan, and there was a lot of people in the crowd dressed as Alexa Bliss. There was a lot of cosplaying for Alexa Bliss. It was her hometown, as you say. And Alexa Bliss responded to a fan saying that she hopes that she'll be on Raw next week.
It's not good enough. It's her hometown. She's already come back. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to see Spooky Bollocks Alexa Bliss coming back because I don't like the character.
I quite like Spooky Bollocks Alexa.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Wrestling's good when it's bollocks, and Spooky Bollocks.
But it's
Alexa
really
Bliss.
bollocks. It's not Undertaker Spooky Bollocks. It's just it doesn't work for me. But you do you totally. So I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe they're reinventing the gimmick a little bit. Maybe they want to change it up. But I have no idea. But it's a shame for those in attendance who wanted to see the hometown gal in action.
It's more like the culmination of all these weeks of these therapy sessions, and then like she made a big return at Elimination Chamber, and then
nout.
Very strange. The creative on NXT was brought up in conversation on Busted Open Radio with Samoa Joe. He talked a little bit about how the creative side of things has changed and opened up about why he ended up relinquishing the NXT title just before 2.0 was born, didn't he?
Yeah, so this wasn't what we were perhaps led to believe. I think most of us assumed that Joe was like good and proper injured, and so he had to relinquish the title. It appears that may not be entirely the case. Joe said, I popped for COVID. This is such a good, I love this interaction. My wife was making stew and I couldn't smell it. She said, wow, doesn't that smell great? I went, no.
Risky. Joe choosing murder that day, apparently.
And then I tested positive, I think, on Saturday. And then, by then, Vince McMahon had really wanted to go in a different direction with NXT. Of course, he's talking about NXT 2.0. And he really wanted to have the new opening of NXT kind of be with a bang. And I agreed with him. I said, listen, if that's the case, then, this is probably what's best for your vision and what you want for the products. What did Joe do next? He kind of went behind the scenes and just started working with talent on a real one-to-one basis, pulling guys individually in open gyms. working with them, focusing on a lot of new tremendous prospects that we brought in. So he was essentially just transitioned into a different role. But the reason for Joe relinquishing the title, it doesn't look like it was an injury. It was just to do with COVID, which he would have been probably good to go after 10 days or so.
Is Joe hidden back into the ring, though, is the question. He answered that on Busted Open Radio saying, we'll see what the coming months hold. Hopefully, it'll be positive. I'm not really, not COVID positive, thankfully. I'm not really engaged with anybody or exploring that. I've been consumed with my other work, which has been nice. We're now getting back to pro wrestling and seeing where we go from here. So,
see your revolution, pal.
Grab that brass ring. Jeff Jarrett. He's back, baby. NWA. I'm banging the drum for NWA power all the time. Nick Aldis and Matt Cardona fight for the NWA title. Jeff Jarrett's going to be the guest referee. I like that. Nice.
I've made it clear recently that I've come to appreciate Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah,
like a fine wine. He has. Over about 400 years, he has broken me down, and I enjoy seeing him in these roles. Obviously, you don't necessarily want to see him doing wrestling all the time, but if you can bring in Jarrett, he's a guy with a lot of charisma, personality. No matter what people say, I really like the guy, and so it's cool. And seeing him there in that scenario, I think is a cool thing.
He's going to be part of the Crockett Cup, refereeing the NWA World Title match, presumably night 2 on March the 20th. With that
being a bastard, he's going to screw someone there, isn't he?
Oh no!
Yeah,
surely won't be a setup all along. No way, Jose. Finally, Jeff Hardy related chatter once again. He said in an interview, "I'm going to AEW." He sprinted back on that and went, "Don't believe everything you hear, mate. You literally just said you're going to AEW." Dave Meltzer in The Observer saying Jeff Hardy should be in AEW relatively soon. So his no compete is on the 10th, which means that next week. So I think unless they want a lawsuit on their hands, it kind of rules him out for Revolution.
Yeah, they might do a little tease or something like that without using his image or something, but maybe. I think he'll probably just be a big surprise on next week's Dynamite, so that's pretty exciting.
That's one of the big announcements, I would imagine.
If it happens. It continued. Shane Strickland should be in soon. I don't know anybody else off the top of my head coming in just yet. I think that there will be more. You reckon? You reckon? That's pretty much what's going on there,
Dave speaking as jazz happens. Program for Jeff and Matt Hardy in AEW. What would you like to see?
I would like to see him. There's a lot of dream matches that I'd like to see with Jeff that don't involve tag action. I'd quite like to see Jeff in a few it's not that Matt I've cooled off on a little bit. I think a lot of people have. So maybe he is more valuable in a tag team there. I'd like to see AEW. I'd like to see him do some stuff with Sammy personally.
Oh, nice!
I think they could have some really nice matches. Oh, go on then. Tag team matches. What you got?
Well, Hardy's Young Bucks. That has to be a thing they touch upon.
Nah, seen it.
Nah, do it again.
Yeah, right.
Do it again.
No, it's fair.
Jeff Hardy, Young Bucks, FTR, 3-way ladder match.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Book it, you cowards.
There you go.
Book it, you cowards. More news throughout the day at Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.